Okay, I'm gonna do another little video. This one's just to show a couple of little toys and to give you all an idea, especially if you have an air rifle, on a good, quick, easy way of giving it a decent cleaning. I'll show you that towards the end of the video. First, let me show you one of the toys. It's kind of messed up right now. Uh, Darn it, I turned it the wrong way when I opened it the second time, and one of the little springs is somewhere under the couch. But this was as far as I know, other than its other model with the longer barrel, this is a Crosman 1911, has the highest rated feet per second, other than the one with the longer barrel, for a CO2 pistol. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've taken out shot a lot. You know, it's accurate for at about 30 feet. In fact, this was my range. I used to sit here in this chair, and all the way back there behind that target is where I had a target set up at the wall, and I could just sit here plinking. Now, speaking of, and let me show you what I did for that pistol at one point. This was it's a pouch for a drill, but the pistol fit in there perfectly. I had a little flashlight hanging here. I got inside here storage for several, there's hundreds of BBs down in here. I put them in I got a couple CO2 cartridges and hundreds of BBs. And then I also had this knife on here that I found quite some time ago. It was a little worse for wear and tear. It still is. I've done what I could to clean it up, but it can come in handy. Just stuck it on an old belt. Alright, now, let's look at this. Here's the target I've been shooting at now. Black Friday, had a lot of family in town. I didn't realize it was Black Friday, and I went shopping with them because they were going to this flea market where I know that they have a lot of stuff. In fact, that's why I got that shovel, if you saw it on my other video. Now, these are some of the plastic darts. Let me show you. I also bought a dozen of the aluminum darts here. What I've done, I've taken some inner tube here. I've been using that for a lot of things. And this helps keeps them all nice and tight in here. And in this here, let me show you. Let me put you down for a sec here. Yeah, this is what the aluminum arrows look like. Hope you can see that. And then, I don't want to pull that out. But I have made a couple of homemade ones. In fact, there's one there here. I'll show you another one in just a minute. But getting back to this target. Now I'm going to show you, I modified one of the crossbows to where it is much more powerful. Now, if you'll notice, I only shot it once, but if you'll notice, this dart sank considerably farther than any of the other darts. And let me show you why. This is pretty cool. I had one of these cheap dart guns for a long time. I bought one for my grandsons. When my son took it home with him, somehow he did something and broke it. And meanwhile, some guy gave me this antique that was missing a lot of parts, but I took it and I made two good ones out of the three. And here's one of the, show you here, let me get this out. Here's one of my homemade darts. Can you see that? Let me get a darker background. Yeah, you see that? You know, the fletchings there are made out of duct tape. This was a bunch of some sheet metal I had left over from a job, and I cut a whole bunch of different size arrow and spearheads and have them packed away and available for use. And I've made several of these arrows. Took some fishing line, put it on there, and then glued it on top of that. Okay, but now what's really cool about this one here is a 50-pound pull. You know, but years ago I had one. I think they came out. They were 35 or 45 or 40. Then they went to 45, and now they're at 50. And here, let's see if I can do it with my hands. Well, caulking it isn't too bad. You know, I can do it. I mean, you know, a lot of women and young guys and girls, they can't do it. You know, it does take a good bit. All right, let me get this off of here. But here's what I did with the parts for the other one. If you can see this, I put two bands on here. Since I had an extra band, and I have them lashed together at the end. Now, is quite powerful now. And once I lash these lashings a little tighter, I just kind of did it late in the evening, it'll have even more power. But this one, uh, it's awfully hard to cock. I'm not going to try to draw it back right now while I'm holding the phone, that's for sure. But that's the one that made the yellow dart there at the bottom go so much deeper than the others. Yeah, it's got some power. And some of these bigger holes here that you see that are outside of the main target, that's from actually shooting some homemade bows and arrows. Well, the arrows aren't, but and these bows are going to two of my grandsons. Let me show you them real quick. One, I've just made a little thing out of bamboo. I was experimenting. Let me put it over here somewhere. You can just maybe see it a little bit. There it is. It's pretty long still. My youngest grandson just loves this thing. So I shortened it a few inches, but I'm going to shorten it some more. And of course, as I shorten it, it'll get more powerful. Now, I want to show you a couple of things about this. See, this is a laminated bow. One layer of the bamboo just wasn't strong enough. You're talking a 10 or 12 pound bow. So, and some of what I had, I didn't realize when I went and got it. It had cracks in it. The string here, that's paracord. And what happened, what I did, see, I have a long piece here. And here's a shorter piece, for reinforcing. And then another long piece on this end. Now, when you draw this bow and it bends, there's a lot of movement between all of these. So I sanded the insides of them good to reduce the friction. Once again, here's some inner tubing I put on there. There's some tape also, some duct tape underneath there. That's just to keep them together, but still allows a lot of motion. And then a little paracord on here too for the same thing, because it'll help keep them together, but allow some motion. Anyway, that's going to my little grandson. Shoot, he's a little taller than half this bow. So I will shorten it for him a little bit more. But I can string it right now and show you. It will shoot arrows. Okay, speaking of the arrows, let me show you. That same day we went out, of course, I thought we were only going to the flea market. But when you're with 3 van loads and it's a lot of women and children, heck, you're going to other stores too. So I did get a few arrows here. A shorter one, the wooden one at the top, and then a couple of aluminum arrows. And, they're okay. They're arrows. Definitely not for hunting or anything like that. But go out and have some fun with them. Now, well, then I made this. Somebody thrown away a whole bunch of Schedule 40 PVC. So I went and got it, and I made a rough attempt at making a bow. And it wasn't too bad at first, but this one I did on the electric range, and then finished it up with a propane torch. And then it was decent, but I rebent it, and it's just that was just an experiment there. But the second one I made, I went up and I got myself a heat gun up at Harbor Freight. Actually got it on sale, plus I think I paid less than $10 for it. Right here it is, right here. I think it was like $9.99, and it's worked just fine for helping to make this bow. Let me see here. This is a recurve. Got like a handle in there. Got it all painted. Got the nice recurve. Once again, both these bows right now are strung a little loosely. But yeah, this one, I'll tell you what, it's got a decent amount of pull to it. And when I stick a 31-inch arrow on there, I can get a full draw, and it feels pretty good. It's got some power to it. All right, so enough said about those things. Now this is something, there's a lot of air gunning videos on the internet. This is mine. This is my Beeman, one of the ones where you can change it from 177 caliber to 22 caliber. Now I just put the 22 caliber barrel back on here. I tend to prefer it. They're both a lot of fun, and of course it's a little bit more economical plinking with the 177 caliber. And then I did put this kind of camo paracord all over here. Makes it look pretty neat. The problem with these is when you change the barrels out, between the 177 and the 22, you have to resight the gun because your scope's definitely going to be off. It's usually not too bad, but yeah. Okay, so now getting to cleaning. Let me show you what I do. Now this is just for a rough clean, but I take a bunch of, usually just a couple. Where you at? Okay, some Q-tips, and I cut them in half. You see, I got several more right there, and naturally, hold on a second here. I'm gonna caulk the thing. There you go. So there it is. So I got it caulked. By the way, these are great guns, and you can buy these at Walmart, $100. This thing, the first time I shot it was out the door over there, and I live in a condo project, and I didn't know it was gonna break the speed of sound. Oh man, I hurried up, closed the door, and got back in here. And actually, then I took it to my buddy's ranch, and at least probably half a dozen of the first shots, because of the oil in here, they actually broke the speed of sound with the 177 caliber. So I didn't expect the 22 caliber to do it, but yeah, that also broke the speed of sound on several of its first shots. But anyway, what I do now, sometimes depending on which caliber I have, whether it's the 177 or the 22, and I already dirtied this one, sticking it in there a little, but sometimes you got to fluff them out to make them fit a little tight. There you go. I just stuck it in there, close it up. Here we go. Let's see. Let me see if we can see anything here. This is tough. Where is it? Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I turn off my safety. Blam! You shoot the thing. Yeah. And anyway, what I generally do is I do that 2 or 3 times. I go and pick it up. In fact, let's see if we can find that one. I usually shoot it at something closer. It's a little tough doing all this while I'm holding this phone. I did see pieces of it come flying over here. Anyway, you get the gist. And I'll tell you what, it actually works pretty good. You can tell, you'll shoot your first one through there, and it's going to come out all black and dirty. And you can go ahead and shoot another one. It won't be as bad. And usually by the third to fourth, it's coming out totally clean. It's very simple. And it'll work for the 177s too. Sometimes with those, you just have to take the cotton, and instead of fluffing it out, like for the 22, you kind of fluff it a little longer so that it fits in there and makes plenty of contact too. Anyway, I just thought I'd share those things with you. Yeah, I'm really that double crossbow.